What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel and some Carnevale action here. We've been keeping an eye on this game for quite some time and finally decided to pull the trigger. And so today we're going to take a look at the two-player starter box, which is a pretty hefty box here. So this is quite sizable and quite heavy as well. You get a full rule book in there, but we'll jump into that in just a moment. But this is a great game now from TTCombat, micro skirmish, and kind of a unique setting. That definitely is going to be a terrain-intensive game, as a lot of the play involves being able to like jump up and down from higher up buildings and into water features and things like that. So in other words, the canals of Venice here, which is the setting for the game. So we're going to get this open up and show you guys everything inside. Alright guys, we are back and we got everything open up here. So as you can see, again, pretty sizable box and really not too much dead space in here, so they filled it out pretty well. I think it's a pretty wide box, but overall somewhat shallow. So we get a full rule book in here, so a soft cover on this, and we'll have a series of videos on this separately, but just as a quick flip through. So very high production value here, gloss, pages, all kinds of great artwork and stuff like that. So a lot of the weight is coming from this. Get some cards here, which again, we're not quite sure what these are yet. Again, we're just jumping in here, but anyway, so you have that. You get what I believe are some sort of rule summary sheets, quick reference sheets, double-sided. That's always nice. So hopefully it'll be a game too where once you play it a few times, you really won't be digging into the rules all that often, and really just being able to consult those. Separate baggie here, lots of stuff in here. So we got some dice, looks like faction dice as well. The game does use templates or bases. They do make a series of resin bases, which I think we're going to probably go with for most things, just to up the coolness factor of the way things look. But definitely some different templates. So area of effect looks like some sort of measurement device, maybe even like a flamer type template. Some other piece here, probably like an initiative marker, if I had to guess. And the game does use D10s, so you can see that there. Then we do get two starter factions in here, and a resin terrain piece as well. So gondola, which is actually a not just a terrain piece just for the sake of being there, but actually can be used as transport as well for some of the factions. So cool stuff there. Then our quote-unquote bad guys, not that anybody's really good in this setting, but the Rashar, so kind of some weird cultist type dudes. And then the guild, for which if you look, we also have a couple other videos up there. I think we're probably going to be sticking with these guys for the moment as our main faction, but we'll definitely get the other one up and running as a second force for demos and stuff like that. But again, not a big box here, so as far as just fitting in the minis, and I would say definitely a useful box also to keep handy just for like, again, like templates, tokens, and dice and stuff like that. Nice easy storage bit. And then the other part of the heft of the box here, so I'm not going to open these up just yet, but we do get some full color sort of terrain here, some bridges, sort of 2D on those. But then the buildings are sort of pop-up buildings. So if you've seen boxes from Infinity, for example, those starter boxes will have some just simple fold-up terrain, and or fold-together terrain rather, and that's a similar vein here. And again, decent quality enough from what I've seen, just from other videos. Looking at these, so again, you get a fair bit here just to cover up and have a decent little table right out of the box. So again, this is definitely from what I've seen, watching some videos and looking at the game just in general, a very terrain intensive game. So definitely cool that they included all this in the box, and still looks decent enough, right? It's not going to be maybe the super most sturdiest stuff, but looks cool, and that'll tide you over until you invest in some other terrain if you want to go that route, but you don't have to. And the cool thing is too, you can deconstruct the stuff again, put it in the box, and off you go. So it doesn't have to take up a whole lot of space and lets you travel with it as well. So super cool there. And then also they give you some colored mats as well to act instead of like a play mat. These are basically 1x1 square sections here, and I think there's supposed to be enough in here double-sided as well. So we got some sharks or something swimming there. Was that some tentacles popping up? Yep. So different pieces here just to be able to set up a table as well, and then put the buildings on. So right out of the box again, and again, the ground you play on in this game is definitely super, super important. So whether you're on actual solid ground or in the canals, I know that the game does have a lot of rules involving that, and I think you can even like drown your opponents and stuff like that. So, and I think some of the factions make more or less use of the water and stuff like that, and also just a mode of transport. So really cool, really unique game with a unique setting. And again, another one of these so-called like kind of, well, it's a skirmish game, but you know, I've also heard it called like a micro skirmish game. Again, not necessarily like a 4x4. So I think generally smaller tables like 2x2, maybe 3x3, just depending on what you're doing. And that again lets you get in and have fun little games without having to invest overly much in tons and tons of minis and other stuff. Now, again, it is a terrain intensive game, so that I think will be, aside from the minis themselves, the biggest investment there if you really want a amazing looking table. And again, unlike a lot of other games, definitely going to make a lot of use of sort of the verticality or vertical elements of your terrain. So multiple stages, just totally different elevations and things like that. And probably the factions that make the best use of that will also, or the best, or I should say the players who make the most use of the terrain will probably also do really well. But anyway, a really cool box, lots of stuff to unpack here and get into. So we're going to take a moment here. We'll come right back, but we're going to just open up some of the other components just so you guys get a quicker and better look at those. So we'll be right back. Alrighty guys, and here we have the guild minis opened up for you just to take a quick gander at. We'll hope that it does stay as focused as it can be. One thing I can definitely say from just opening a couple of the other blisters and boxes for the game so far, be super, super careful about handling the minis. A lot of these thinner pieces are just very, very flimsy. So like the ore there, any of the swords, daggers, just anything that's thinner, just be very careful. This is definitely not like a sort of rough and tumble type of resin, or at least the sculpts, where you can be throwing these models around a lot. So definitely be very, very careful in how you handle them when you're trimming up some of the flash and stuff like that. Just be super, super careful. Took like no pressure to break a leg off of one of the minis just by holding it the wrong way. So be very careful on this. So, but anyway, these are the guild minis. We'll take a look at the Rashar next, and then the gondola, and then dive into some of the buildings for you. Alright guys, and here we have the Rashar unboxed, so we also get 7 minis here, and these guys, I have to read up on the faction a little bit more, but definitely some frightening looking creatures here, but really cool detail nonetheless. Looks like these, I think, are going to be our boss, and it looks like these guys are like chained together, so I don't know if these are like slaves or something, sacrificial victims probably. I think these guys are all like about the cult stuff, and then this big horrible monster here. Wouldn't want to step too close to the water and get pulled in by something like this. That is frightening. I will say that whatever they're using for like the release agent and stuff like that, so like when you're first handling these minis, they're just super, super slick. So be sure to give these a good scrub as well as you're getting models trimmed up. Sometimes it's a little hard to hold some of the models. They almost want to slip out of your fingers. So again, just be careful when you're making cuts and trims and stuff like that. But anyway, these are the Rashar that we get in the box. Alright guys, and here we have the gondola terrain. So, a couple pieces for it certainly here. Looks like pretty cool details as well. And then some of these pieces here for tying up your gondolas or just harbor terrain. Can't remember what the official word is or term is for these things, but anyway, we get 3 of them. So nice that they included on top of the flat pack terrain here, the cardboard terrain also, or the cardstock terrain rather, some actual resin bits in here too, because I think you can buy like extra gondolas and stuff separately, but nice little touch here to throw actual 3D piece in as well. So we'll take a look next at the buildings and the tiles. One thing worth mentioning as well, guys, is aside from the rulebook and the quick reference sheets, you get like a little mini intro campaign here, which is really nice. Similar again to some of the other game systems out there, but I'll just use again Infinity as a reference, where some of those like prefabricated starters had a like a simplified campaign that gradually teaches you more and more of the rules, and that's, I think, similar in vein to this. So these just kind of start off as 2x2 scenarios with simplified rules, and then progressively gets more and more complicated up through, I think, like 6 different scenarios in here. So lots of good stuff and good ideas implemented in this starter experience for folks here. So yeah, I think like 6 or 8 missions. It's quite a bit. So that gives you some ideas on where to head next for expanding your factions and maybe looking at other factions and terrain, of course, since TTCombat does make a hell of a lot of terrain. So there you have it, guys, and we'll be moving on. Alrighty, guys, and now for a look at the buildings. So again, we're just going to do a quick look through here. So we go, I think, 8 in total of these. Nice bright orange on that. Then looks like a couple of slightly smaller ones. Some brick there. Bright pink. Well, pinkish red, in either case. More brickwork here. Oops. Again, some smaller ones. Stone. Kind of a dingy one here. Then a lighter blue, but also some grime on it, so that's pretty neat. We get, oops, kind of stuck on the side there. So I think we get 1, 2, 3, 4 bridges total, 2 big and 2 small. And then our double-sided tiles here. So we got 1, and then just kind of open water. More canal. And then more open water. So again, you got some pretty good flexibility in how you're going to build here. Again, lots more open water. Some intersections and stuff here as well. Cool deal. I think the back ones are all basically just open water. This one's kind of a bigger plaza here. Yeah. More canal corners. And again, just open water on the other side. It would seem. Again, kind of a straight section there. I think we got 1 or 2 more left here. Oop, that's kind of cool. Some blood in the water. And the last one. There we go. So, again, quite a bit here. What do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So that'll let us make a 3x3. So there you have it, guys. That is everything, and it was quite a bit that we get in the 2-player starter. Again, we'll delve into rulebook and other things like that, factions and stuff, in a completely separate series of videos, but that just gives you a quick idea of everything that you'd be getting into if you pick up the 2-player of Carnevale. Let us know, guys, if you play the game or if you've had your eye on it, and just overall thoughts. Drop us some comments, like and subscribe, and we'll have more for you soon. Take care.